This started out to be like a flyer for a specific group, but I want to make this program tonight a general program that'll fit a program or a lecture for all occasions. First of all, our community, As-Sabiqun, the vanguard of Islam, the first of those who forsook their homes, and of those who gave them aid, and also those who follow them in all that is good. Well pleased is Allah with them, as they are well pleased with Him. He had prepared gardens under which rivers flow to dwell therein forever. That is the supreme felicity. Al-Fawdul Azim is the ultimate, let's call it happiness or whatever, because Al-Fawdul Azim, along with other states in the Quran, it will make an assertion that that is the highest achievement, or that is the final achievement. So, and just to stray off the subject a little, paradise has so many levels, there's Firdaus, that's way up there. Now, if y'all like me, I just want to get in. That's from the description. I know it's not like what the Quran is telling us, because the Quran is Allah speaking to the human being knowing their capacity. So Allah have to speak in figurative pictures and allegories, because the Quran says, no eye have seen it, no ear have heard it, nor have it even entered the possibility of the mind to conceive of paradise, But if that was, which is a good enough allegory, if I can get there, look, I'm not being funny, but I'll tell you, when it talk about in the grave, that you will have an idea of which way you're headed, and it talks about the ones that are headed in the other direction, they're going to be able to smell the smoke from the fire, and they're going to be able to hear the people hollering. They might as well be in there, because they're just going to be super paranoid, right? Because they already got it. They got an idea which way they're headed. Then the other group is like they're on a veranda. They're on, a veranda, and they could kind of see in paradise. They could smell the fragrance of paradise. And that's in the grave now. That's when you die, you're going to be looking at that. Now, to me, that's fine. If I can get there, I could hear the beautiful sounds, witness or behold all the beautiful happenings, fine. But that's just the pre-paradise and the pre-hellfire. So when it talks about the vanguard of Islam, As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun, it's talking about a people who went out right away. They didn't get any permission. They didn't ask anybody. They went out and they did what needed to be done. And then it don't say that this happened one time. That As-Sabiqun, it's all kind of openings. That it's very possible that every time they finish one event, they could go on to another. This is the way we feel about our event now. At this stage, it feels very, very good. Because in this time, we're going directly after the Zionists. You say that's what I said, no. Think back. We made flyers, Islamic Institute of Counter-Zionist American Psychological Warfare. That's so the Zionists would make Boss Man do everything he could to finish us off. That's for the Zionists to do what they are. They like you can see the Zionists now are comfortable with who they are, and they're comfortable with world power. Everything centers around them, right? The whole world is acting on their behalf. And at this point, they're not getting any really, they're not being checked. That's our job, this go round. You said that brother is really arrogant, or the brother's not arrogant. No. Let's think about it. Just think about it systematically. Has everything that we said about Boss Man, we're going to slap Boss Man upside the head, we're going to whoop Boss Man, boy, we're going to have him running around in circles. And this is what we said. And we said that the Boss Man is going to act so funny that he's going to unify the Muslims. It don't mean all of them at that time, but we outlined what we thought it would look like. It's going to be a protracted struggle, long range. Ain't going to be all that Arab Spring. Don't worry about that. That ain't happening. Okay, but the Muslims thought it was real. Ikhwan al-Muslimin, they went right there to Boss Man. When they came, they said, Boss Man, we ain't got no bad nia. We ain't gonna do nothing. Just let us have a little run. And Boss Man said, why, sure, you go ahead. What the heck? And they believed Boss Man. We didn't believe him. We told him. We said at all those periods, at all those times, boy, look at here. Boss Man, you traveling at 40 miles an hour, Boss Man traveling at 100. Right? It's just a figurative speech. So whatever happens, whenever you come on the scene, you're going to be behind. You're going to perpetually stay behind. Because the things that Boss Man are doing, he's doing them at 100 miles an hour, and you're traveling, you're going ahead, you're evolving. But you're evolving at 40 miles an hour. And the movement, the whole general system and the oppression is evolving at 100 miles an hour. So you'll always be 60 miles per hour, or per generation, per whatever it is, because of what you're doing, the way you're doing it. The other thing is this thing is going to cause some unity. This period, now this was 10 years ago, actually almost 11, but this is 10 years ago. This was probably 4/16/11, okay. So April the 16th, we're talking down in Texas. Actually, we're talking where Kennedy gets assassinated down in Dixie, Texas. And so, but we're talking about Libya. So, in talking about Libya, you wouldn't think we're talking about Libya because we're talking about what is getting ready to happen now, what is already happening now, is unification of the Ummah is taking place. First of all, it's a long-range struggle. Number three, there's going to be a collective mentality developed. Out of that collective mentality is going to be a group of people that will unify themselves with a focused outline on their own future and the part they have to play in it. That has happened today. They was trying to sell us exactly at that time, and even on the same week, they was trying to sell us that this is a new, they was trying to hook it up with the 7 days of dawn, 10 days of dawn in Iran. February the 1st is February the 11th. And remember that they had some big event on February the 11th in Egypt. And the people called me from Egypt. Muhammad Al-Asi and what's the name? This heads up the Islamic human rights thing. Yeah, they called me from Tahrir Square. This is really happening. I said, ain't nothing happening over there. They were trying to convince. The thing that made me know for sure it wasn't happening because I already knew who they was. I'm sure they should have known. Maybe they didn't. I think 10 years ago they didn't know for sure. They would send me all on wild goose chases. Man, I went to Switzerland and there's supposed to be a program there. You know, so if they keep you moving, you won't be focused on what you're doing. I just enjoyed my trip to Switzerland. I knew there was something wrong because over there at the airport, they held that plane up for so many hours. The pilot said, "This has never happened before." I could hear it in his voice. The white folks then told him, "You don't take off." And they're showing, this is the authority we have. And so if they stopped us from leaving at that time, that means if we had a flight to catch going to Switzerland, right, if we took off late from here, we would miss it. There were so many Africans on there, they would miss their flights, and they may have to wait a whole day in the airport, wherever they're going to, to go. Then they would miss, if they had another connecting flight, right, they would miss them. But anyway, it doesn't make any difference. The airline take care of that. Okay, so I've been knowing all along. When I get over there to Switzerland, it was absolutely no program at all. None. I said, okay, no problem. Shoot, I had never been to Geneva before. I had never been to Switzerland. It was a nice trip. All paid. They paid for the trip, paid for the flight, paid. So what I care? And I get a chance to go somewhere and go run around and see the Muslims in Switzerland. What, I'd never been there before. I've been to Switzerland vaguely, but I haven't been to Geneva, Switzerland, right? And I get a chance to go around and hear the voices. Oh, they speak here, they speak a little German, they speak French, they speak everything. That's why they call it Switzerland. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. Okay. Whoever of you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand. And if he is not able to do so, then let him change it with his tongue. And if he is not able to do so, then with his heart. And that is the weakest type of faith. This is in Sahih Muslim. So the wrong that we see now all over the world, guess who's coming out to solve the problem? Us. Let's have everybody clap now. I'm telling you, it don't make no difference how crazy it sounds. Okay, what about the last stuff we just finished doing? Right? They could have took me, if they could have came over here before it happened and took me over to St. Elizabeth, they wouldn't have nobody out there protesting. They wouldn't have to let me go until everything we said historically happened. Nobody did that. No big brainy white folks, right? No big university study. No Islamic movement. In fact, you would wonder, why are we so happy and everything? And the Muslims, if you was out there where we was last, we going back out there, the Muslims they sleepwalking. They're sleepwalking. We're going to bring this to them we're going to bring them up to the point of where we are. The movement is not where you are. That's not where the excitement is. The excitement is with us. And guess what? You remember the stuff about Bruce Lee and all that. He got hit with a vibrating hand. And the vibrating hand. That's what we hit the way. And I told, okay, you heard this before? Okay. Maybe at least 3 times? Okay. What did we say we was doing? We hitting the white man with a vibrating hand. Okay. Vibrating hand means you don't even basically feel it. You just something little thing, and you walk out, go down the street, do what you're doing, and in 6 months you just drop dead. Because the vibrating hand has a delayed effect on you. It starts working on you right away. Okay? Now, so if I'm a clown, if I'm a buffoon, then what's happened to the white man since then? Has he collapsed? Is he dysfunctional? Is he discombobulated? I mean, think about him. Is he making any rational decisions about anything at all? I mean, just let's hear it. One rational decision. We're going to clean up the oceans. That'll be enough. We're going to get air fresheners and clean up big fans and run the air through the things. Filters the world's air. We're going to do that. Not one, right? Boss man is thoroughly discombobulated. That man is not functioning. And as we said before, we're taking the credit for that. Not the real, but as far as y'all are concerned, you people, yeah, that's what we did. Of course, you know the ultimate doer. And I'm not going to mention that because we didn't mention it before. Everybody know who I'm talking about. For now, we talking about us. We done whooped the draws off boss man. Yes, we have. Now we're going after the Zionists. If you think we're not lying, what have he did? He left Afghanistan running the other day. 20 years. And all these drones that killed people, it's only 1 or 2. No, they've been wearing people out. All that time. They've been wearing out families. Can you imagine the strength that those people in Afghanistan, the ability to endure, to endure? And when he calls the graveyard of empires, in our time, the last 2 monsters, it whooped Russia so bad, they say, I quit. I'm gonna try to do some good for a while. Good in relation to them, So if they're not killing anybody or murdering anybody, okay, the commies may put a little something on you and you die 2 days later in the hospital, little green stuff. Little, what they call it, it's not the CIA, all they crew, the KGB. Yeah, the KGB. But they haven't did no more mass murders like Afghanistan. So technically, Russia and everything Putin do, it's like, I ain't bothering nobody else for a while. Now what you want to do? What you want to talk about, sucker? You ain't talking about nothing. You can notice he ain't scared of no boss man or nobody. But he ain't making no ugly faces at none of the poor people or none of that, right? Tell the truth. Look at it. He is not doing that. Right? He ain't saying, you little guys, you little black niggas over there in Africa, we're going to come over here and whitewash your behind. We're going, boy, he ain't mentioned a word. We're for humanity. If we can help anybody, we're ready to go. Right? That's actually what's happening. And I don't want to get into China because, well, boss man thought, well, if we make the Chinamans not rich, but semi-rich, not even semi-rich, if we can fix it so they can eat. The only thing about it is, and I'm not against Orientals. I'm with them all the way, but sometimes they steal too. They remember the cassettes used to come. They would. I don't care who you like, Temptations, and they just stopped. Now, Tony was my connections on the movies down there. I guess the business finished. Now, Tony, of course, is a Chinaman. I have never heard of a Chinaman named Tony, and we would talk. One of our favorite subjects, and I'm talking to them about Japan. Uh, so what's happening with y'all in Japan? I say, Japan, you can see it on TV, all this stuff right now. I say, yeah, Nanking, man, 1937, that was bad, what they did. Do they ever apologize? Yeah, but not, it wasn't the right one. They didn't gravel and all that. I said, well, y'all got culture, talking about y'all Japanese. Y'all's not as far gone as, but they cut their guts open before they would say I was sorry. You know what I mean? I said that's a custom. It's a habit. If the Americans are coming and all the soldiers there, the general is sitting there, so he's systematically. I mean, you know how sharp the thing is. He goes this way, up over here, and then down. That means he don't have his insides is gone. And then he sits there for a second or two and then falls over. I said, them boys they got their own, they was living back in the Stone Age. Then Admiral Perry went over there in 1853, hey, you guys, da, da, da. By 1904, the Japanese had beat the Russian Navy, right? In that, 1904. And then by World War II, that's in a short period of time, they jumping on, and they had a few mistakes here and there. They whooped your behind. Yes, you got lucky on that one. Yeah, I mean, you did strategic stuff. Okay, take a bow. But so I was telling the guy, I said, why don't you apologize for him? I said, because see, America's classified as number one. Japan was number two, and you're classified as number three. Y'all all next door. And so between you two, y'all can hook up everybody. Vietnam, you can hook up all of those, everybody. Between the Japanese, I said, y'all, and they don't know how far they ahead of America. I was over in Japan 20 years ago, and they got when you use the toilet, instead of making a stinger here, you push your button, and man, that toilet spray water on your behind, and then I said, I said, man, and I went to the bathroom, and I said, what the heck is going on here? Hey, man, I said, no stinger, and that was 20 years ago. I said, good God Almighty, they clean too, you know what I mean? I said, good God Almighty, no extension, no nothing. This is automatic. I said, so I looked all around. Anyway, the Japanese and the Chinese, right now you can see on all the media, the Chinese is going through their Nanking thing, 1937. The Japanese that was bad. In World War II, boy, The let's say the bad Japanese, the good the other Japanese that was not like the militaries, they said, please, MacArthur, do this, that, and another, and make sure we can't have. We don't want no military, right? That's what they telling MacArthur, because MacArthur wasn't going to do all of that stuff. You're going to say, it's a little army, they're going to hurt nobody. But the Japanese, they just, they said, them guys has got us into this, and we don't want to have any more of that. They call them the militaries. It's Tojo. It's all that crew. And they got us into this. And they invaded everybody. And they had the Tanaka Plan, 1924. That was the Prime Minister of Japan. The Tanaka Plan said that Japan does not have enough people to do what it wants to do, like conquer the world. So it will use China. China will do all the work, and we'll do all the. That was the Tanaka Plan, and that's just what they started out to do. They say, "Hey, now." They invaded Manchuria and called it Manchukuo. I said, boy, this boy is really serious. Anyway, let me get back to the point. The point is this. We haven't been wrong on all of this stuff. Actually, we haven't been wrong on none of it. That's okay. We're sitting here talking about it. We're making fun about it. But nobody can say that. I'm sorry. There's no think tank, there's no collection, there's no State Department, who blah, blah, blah. Not even the CIA don't get it that right. KGB don't get it that right. Nor any other collection of people get it that right and that timely. That's why now we're moving with certain expediency, because there's no time limit on these things, but we have a feeling that the time is kind of urgent. So we didn't feel that way during the last stage. This is a different stage. So whoever sees an evil, let him change it with his hand. This has been one of our favorite hadith. We have never had the military power. In fact, we've been infiltrated and sabotaged by everybody from day one of this Islamic movement. Okay? So, we're not going to fight boss man. We're not going to, So if you go back in history and you go back with what you visualized, we had to look at something. What do we look like to boss man? When he sees us, what does he see? Okay. Our age. Black militancy, flip up to Islam, and then it gets involved in the international thing, 1 and 2, or let's call it 2 and 3. He misses something. He misses the stage before. The little kids, I was young when I sat around my father and those people, because I'm the youngest in the family, and my father was 45 when I was born. So you can imagine, when I'm 15, he's 60 years old. I'm the last one. And guess what? All them stories about the past, all his friends, how they acted. All right, I picked up on all of that. I don't know anybody else that did. Now, what does that mean? Out of the 3 stages of, let's call it human development, we got one stage that boss man has no knowledge of. And I don't know it either until I reflect. When you get time to reflect and start thinking, right? Then you have to find, what do I have? What have I been given? It don't make no difference what other people think about it. It has nothing to do with it at all. It's what do you have? So we got the secret weapon. We got a secret weapon. We can fool a white man. And we did. We did it easy. We did it easy. It was everything that happened here was easy. Okay, people say, well, them niggas busted you upside the head, they did this and that. That was not difficult at all. When I used to be talking, Brother Tufel and I used to talk a lot. And I was talking about this, at that time, a few years back, this transition that's going on. But if you may not understand it, if you don't understand, you may have taught military, this march, this, that, other. You may have, I'm not saying you or him or them, I'm saying may have a police background. You investigate the subject and you study the habits and customs, and you can fool them easy. So, you ever see these scams? They have a team of folks. One is the big flamboyant guy, the other is a pretty girl, and there's a whole team of phonies. They're acting a part, right? And when they come back, when they get in contact with you, they're the big fence. They're the big diamond connection. They're the big, all of this. And they're all playing that part. They're all lying. They're all police. But they know how to play that part. Why? Because they've been playing that part so long as they could do it with their eyes shut. Why? Why do you think all the body shops that cut up cars and all that, when they get ready to put them in jail, they put them in jail? Why? Because you think the police are going to have a body shop cutting up things, and they're not going to have their own body shop that does that, and the Negro in there does it? You think you're going to go out and buy cars? Everywhere I go, I look at the pattern. You think the people all buying them cars, the ones that slick, they got the Nigerians, they got 2-3 Nigerian police. They telling on all the other Nigerians. They got a couple of Negroes there. And they got, that's what they do. They're there for that. They sell cars. And they tell the police on all the other crooked Nigerians. They're crooked too. Because they tell on everybody. They get a chance to do, they got a little stealing on the side. What the heck, right? No problem. That's in everything. I don't care whether it's diamonds, whatever you have, whatever they deal with. Dope dealers, God knows the percentage of those tattletales. If they're not telling on day one, after they get a couple of cases, they're going to start telling, right? And when I got arrested, my lawyer became Clinton White. He became a Supreme Court justice in California. He looked at me after a couple of cases. He says, because this is a pattern. He said, they never dealt with anybody that has scruples. He called them, that would mean morals, ethics. They come to me with that stuff about Bojack is your closest competitor. Get on a team. And I innocently said, oh, no. Here's what we do. Y'all arrest me like you've been doing. Keep running around. I try to get away like Robin Hood and all them. And, that's the game we'll play, cops and robbers. But I couldn't even, every now and then I would think, how would a nigga be a stool pigeon? How would he sit? How would he tell on other people? This is, being a youngster and not being a part of your makeup. You have to learn that that's what people do. I already knew it. All them riots in the penitentiary, and the only one on the bus getting transferred is me. But, that stuff. So you know. But I'm telling you. So if you see wrong being done, stop it with your hand. We can't. We don't have that power, nor would we want to use that power. Too many people get hurt. Too many people get killed. This time around, it's going to have to be very sophisticated, clean cut, non-hateful, because the world has too many murdering devices now. And this is going to take a lot of skill. It's going to take skill above everything. Number two will take LOVE. I don't even want to say it. No, that's what it's going to take. It can't be, I'll get them niggas back. It can't be that. When you think about that type, think about Jesus with the knocking on the door and that big heart, stuff like that. Of course, he got long blonde hair. They didn't have that hair in that part of the world, but it doesn't make any difference. But just think of that big heart. Look, don't nobody even think like that. Because each group of people, the people that are in a position of not management, because we don't want to call it that, but of somebody has to be on the big global team that help keeps everybody else in balance. Because it won't be our happy team going to win up for everybody. It's going to be globalists involved. It's going to be humanitarians involved, right? This transition right now will be, like we said years ago, tree huggers, oceanographers, people that want to clean up the ocean. We got to help them get trillions of dollars to help clean up the ocean. That's what they want to do, right? So the world is moving both ways at the same time. Before rebellion, before revolution, they have people, before the revolution in Iran, they had nudist beaches upon the Caspian Sea. Nudist beaches in Iran. And the jet set Iranians, the biggest dope dealers, some of them in the world, was Iranians. And Turks, of course. What do they call it? And the movies showed it. They had where the French Connection heroin come from? Turkey. Where is Turkey? Just go next door. When you study Islamic history, you'll find that at one time, coffee was haram and opium was halal. Halal. I'm telling you, think I'm lying? Just everybody knows that opium was halal. 3 weeks ago, I'll be a little further back than that, the ulama in Iran, when the day was over, like the white folks here, Ben Franklin, them would have a pipe. They wouldn't smoke a pipe like people now, every while they're working and all that. When they get ready to turn in, they have a warm fire there, they'd light up, their pipe. Well, the Muslims, look, when they wanted to put a baby to sleep, you know what the mother would do? Blow that on the baby. What happened to the baby? Slobbing all at the mouth and knocked out. Right? That's that's customs. That stuff was just ending when I was over there. Remember, I was over there 50 years ago, stuff like that. For now, that's like a million years ago. The stuff I talk about, I mean, it anyway. If you could turn the heat off just 1 second. Let me speed up here. This is for distribution, by the way. So if you see wrong, stop it with your hand. If you can't speak out about it, now right here, we're going to have a few teams. Even this week, we'll have maybe if you take one team and go one place, we'll go another. We'll have our boxes. We'll put these on our boxes and and however we get the word out, but it won't be no Juma here, neither this week nor next week. Because we're on it's not fundraising, it's we're getting back in, in shape, that's all, for movement. So right now we're putting together the revival of our movement, but based on what we can do. We're going to get $300 million in California, not based on that. We're going to do our stuff right now based on what we can do, our own training, right? And you could imagine, you could see we could do all of this. Easy. We're going to fix the Masjid, we're going to open this, that, and another. We do it all, we'll just be busy. Friendly, busy. Now, speak out about it. We speak long enough, some of the people have to listen because they're absolutely sleepwalking now. But all the Muslims are not police, and all the Muslims are not. There's some people that stumble into Islam. Okay, so one of the things is to tell the story that we have already done. We have already done this. This is at least our third go-round, and this go-round was with a lot of clear expertise. We're saying, we're going to do this to you, boss man. And it happens. I mean, it happens. It has happened. So that's a big sell. When we talk to people, they're going to know that what we're saying is true. All the big shots, all of them definitely know. But then the public of Muslims are just misled, like the American people. Remember all those innocent looking white kids and Negro kids down at Black Lives, whatever they call it. Yeah, and all the rest of them. Remember the police came by us and gave us the greeting. And the other police, that he was going to try to shortstop us and mislead us, but he might wind up getting kind of led in a way, because you can't participate with them people. We didn't even let them in our neighborhood. Well, that's a long time ago. And then I remember once it was one Latino guy on a bicycle. I said, yeah, the U.S. stole Mexico, da, 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 da. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Somebody must have pushed the little buzzer and said, man, you got to go. Because remember, right after that, he left. Because he said, hell, you must be from Salvador or somewhere. That's U.S. history. Everybody knows that. So you're making a fool out of yourself. So go. And he got on his bike and pedaled on off. Okay, we got a lot of that. We have friends in the woodwork We have friends in the woodwork. We have people that know who we are and know the cost of talking to us. So we have to play this, or we will play it in ways. Some will ease them out of the closet, you know. Some of this is designed to get physical support. People has got the team spirit for us without waving flags and jumping up and down. Yeah, they for what we, but they're not going. Their job. They believe that they're helping. I help my family. I do this. That's the way we're gonna go. Okay. See, I believe that our attitude is the attitude that it takes to get this job done too. Number one, no hatred. People don't do that. If they've been oppressed by, let's say, the white man or the so and so's, they don't. Their main goal is we're going to get them back and take power. That's a revolution, and then we're going to put them in. They'll know how. And that's the common human. Okay, we've seen that pattern so many revolutions that that's not working. It hasn't worked. And the other thing is the person that's sitting here is not like that. Now that's the rare part. That's just not the way they are. And that's the way it is. It's fine. Okay. So, can't change it with the hand. So we're speaking out about it. Because the ones that are going here and there and they feel bad, they're not saving nothing. They're not going to save anything. Because, just looking for that, well, that's okay. So anyway, now, you believe, or you are the best peoples evolved for mankind, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, believing in Allah. Evolved. Ukrijat lil nas. Karaja means that go out of an exit, but the way kuntum khaira umatin ukrijat lil nas from Karaja. It's exit to go out of. They used to call a group of people Kawarij because they were so Islamic they exited Islam. They had big knots on their head from praying. They were so Sunnified they was just beyond any Sunnah. They just kind of like, I ain't going to mention their name. We have them by the millions now. Right. Look at the people the people was looking at us the other day like we had 2 or 3 heads. Yeah, they did. Yeah, and the Negroes, hey, but you got to remember though, in the last few years, nobody has heard this type of stuff. Now they're hearing it again. This is going to be a big deal. And there's a whole crew that didn't hear it. This is 10,000 people out there at whatever that place we was. These places have exploded. Other people come around, they know you're going to be somewhere. Our friend from out in, what's the name? We may go to his joint, in fact. Out that way. Okay. Persevere, patience, kind of. Wondrous is the case of a believer. There's good for him in everything. And that's good for him alone. If he experiences something agreeable, he's grateful to Allah. And that's good for him. If he experiences adversity, he is steadfast, and that is good for him. That is one of the best hadith in Sahih Muslim. Wondrous is the case of the believer. Everything happened to him is good. Now that's a mouthful. So if he gets all the stuff he likes, he's grateful, thankful, appreciative, and he ain't sitting there talking about, yeah, I'm a bad nigga, I'm a smart nigga, yeah, that's why I got that, cause I'm cool. That's all it is. That niggas ain't cool. They ain't them, look at them old slow niggas there. They ain't cool like me. Right? That's the way people think when they start getting over. I was shocked years ago when we started getting over that one of the main subjects, and I used to go out at night, we'd be out night blowing, whatever we'd be blowing, and the Negroes would be talking big talk when they having a little money. And the most thing they talked about was everybody else, them poor niggas. I said, man, I was looking at them saying, if these guys would have been born in a different environment, I use a term in my mind, captains of industry. Because they were sharp. They was tough. They don't stay that long after you box with boss man. About fifth or sixth round, you go turn into a drunk, whatever, But that's the way they got it. They didn't think like they were sharp. And I use a term, these guys would have been, in another life, they would have been captains of industry, Okay, so as we move along, wonders is the case of a believer, and it's good for him alone. Everything that personality experiences is good. If good happened to him, he's agreeable, grateful, thankful, and appreciative. The experience is adversity, something that challenges you and makes you grow and expand. He has stickability, steadfast, and that's good for him. And that's for a believer only, that anything happens, okay, we accept that hadith 100%, and we know it's, with human certainty it's real. Now, as a group of people, we wish to be gracious to those who are being depressed in the land and to make them leaders in faith, to make them heirs, or to establish a firm place for them in the land, and to show Pharaoh, Haman, and his host at their hands the very things against which they were taking precautions. If you look at the world today, let's deal with just boss man. Everything that boss man was taking precautions against is happening to him. There's nothing he can do about it. And it's bad. I know it's bad for him. It's not bad, it's just normal. If you turn on the TV, every other commercial is a white man or a black man and a white woman and mixed children, right? Go back 10 years ago. No, go back 20 years ago. Go back 50. Don't go back no farther than that. They not only would reckless eyeballs. Anybody ever heard of that? Reckless eyeballs. Do you know they string you up for looking at a white woman? Just looking at a stringy-haired Euro. String you up.
It almost seems like most of the incidences were based on that.
Literally every one of them, because no nigga is going to walk up to the white boss man, I don't like what you talking about. And so, well, hang you. Almost everything. And if the white girl likes you and she's in hot water, the nigga gotta go. The nigga gotta go. That's the way it go. Hey. And anyway, they're gonna make life so miserable. So let's look at it like it is. Let's look at it like right now, like it kind of is. You see the first effects in England, like they're having the problems with the young boys. The young girls now got a good focus on what they should do, what they should do. They feel fine. But the young boys there and in America, they don't know what to do. Their job, because in those days the white man was the hero, the white woman would slip and fall, he'd pick her up. Or if it was Tarzan jump in the water and cut that alligator, throw him all out, whooping his head all out, right? And it's Jane in the water, a white woman. And he ain't going for that. Okay. Now the Negro, he walking along the high mountain, what happened? In every movie, the nigger fall off and fall in the water and get ate by the alligator. And not the white man. He got a sense. Now the white man, I can understand it because see, the white man, I guess he dropped out of an airplane or something years ago and fell in the jungle. Now the Negro has been there since Lucy's time. That's 3 million years ago. They can't talk to animals. But here's a white boy. He just running around, a little diaper on, and he can talk to animals. Huh?
Raised by monkeys.
And he talks that language. He can talk to monkeys, gorillas, anything out there. He knows their language thoroughly. That right. Here comes the lion running. Right? Okay, the Negro has been there since Lucy's time, probably before that. But Lucy is 3 million years ago. In the Ngorongoro crater, whatever that was, they found stuff. So the brother didn't have it going for him, but the Euro did. So he had this hero thing going. Along came Jones, slow walking Jones. You know, the lady on the railroad track getting tied up. But you know them Saturday day, everything like that. He gonna come save her. Now, the white woman don't want to be saved by him, and don't even like. What are you? That's niggas that run. See, this thing about you. You might smile for about 2 weeks, but you'll stop liking me now. The nigga, he's gonna like me from now on. There's a 93% chance that nigga is gonna be with me, cause or whatever. Right? That's the way it is. Right? I mean, they already know that. Everybody knows that, right? So boss man, all he ought to do is do like some of them is doing. Well, I'll get a colored girl or something like that. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Of course, years ago we didn't like that, but the future human beings in the United States, later on all over the world, gonna be like what the white man say, mongrels. You ever see the pictures of the slaves? Them niggas was black. You see anybody like that around here? Not that. We brown. Even I'm brown. Dark brown. I'm not black. That's not black. This is black, right? All this is black. This is black. BLACK, black. Brown. Light brown. Dark brown. Right? And I don't care who you see. Jennifer Lopez with Puff Duty, or it don't make no difference, right? Everybody got to try, right? I mean, it's just why? Who's gonna? They just do that. That's what they do, right? And they make it all right. There's one movie that I like because I don't like this new stuff they make. But there's a movie I like that's called Mountain Between Us or something like Between Them. You know, with the Titanic girl and the Negro that played on the Nigerian Negro. What's that Negro's name? You remember they used to have a program about the people over in, not The Wire, but it matter. It's an African guy. I think of his name. We all know his name. He's on the TV movie every day. And he's on the movie with Kate Winslet, the what's the name woman? Titanic woman. But she was young then. Now the Titanic woman is old, more mature. And him and them, they made a movie, Mountain Between Us, when they got stuck up in the snow. Y'all didn't see that one. I don't go to the movies that much, but I mean, this was a human experience that they had, and it came out. It was a human experience. It ain't all this Fox Man and Ant Man. There ain't none of that stuff. I hate that stuff. You know, my kids watch it. If I have to, I'll just sit there, but I don't like it. I like stuff that's possible. You know what I mean? Like, not like old movies, but it's possible for a plane to crash and a black man and a white woman to be on it, and they survive, and there's a dog in it too, and he survives. What's that Negro's name? We all know his name. He's Nigerian, and yeah, anyway. So the modern times, those old stereotypes, they're going to have to teach the white boy, the modern white boy, a new mission, because he don't fit in the world that's been created. He don't really fit. You know what I mean? The Negro can figure a play. The Negro fit better than he do. Well, I'll join the army or something. You know, right? But I'm saying, technically he don't fit. He has all the power positions. This is what the movies make it out to be. So whatever they're showing on the movie 20, 30 years after that, that will be the general close to the reality, you know, or closer to the reality. But anyway, that ameliorating and multicolored, the longer America is here, the colors will be diluted. Probably, you know. Because what's the biggest group of new children? Mixed race. And you can't help it because, ooh, look at it. Them girl Mexicans, I haven't seen Mexicans all day, but the Negroes say, I like Mexicans. I don't like what they're talking about, but I like them. And then they say, those Negroes, that stuff they do is ridiculous, but I kind of like it. Right? And then the white kids, the wiggers, what do they call them, wiggers? White folks who want to be niggas. They'll get by, but they'll just blend in. You see what I mean? America is turning into a blend. But the picture that they're being given about what America's job is, they're setting it up to be because they're mixing everybody up to do the job. Our job is to point out the job they're supposed to do. They're looking at, well, they're looking on the phony, the little bitty issues that don't mean nothing. Right? We have to point out the real mission for them. That's basically why we're here. Everything in him is good. We wish to be gracious to the mustadafin, those people who were mistreated, oppressed, and everything, and make them leaders and heirs, so they will be the warithun. Imam Muhammad said that we're the warithun. Imam Warithuddin Muhammad, the one that inherited. It's good. But there's another one running around. To establish a firm place in the land, to show Pharaoh, boss man, and his whole ministers and hosts, all this stuff, they was taking precautions. Everything the CIA was taking care of, everything Mossad was, okay, now we done already run the white man crazy. Believe it or not, it don't make any difference. I'm just going to tell you the way I feel. We have already ran them crazy. Discombobulation. When did we start that? Years ago. What happened in Afghanistan? Discombobulated behavior. Is there any other word to explain his behavior better than discombobulated? It don't fit nowhere. Right? Okay, everything we've been talking, it's been happening all along. It's like magic. It's kind of, it's like, well, we don't want to scare the white man too much, but we tell him about, put a spell on his behind, he get out of line. Everything come from Allah, but you know, Negroes been back in the jungles, they've been practicing all kind of stuff. And it's been working too, evidently it's working. Evidently it's working when the so-called strongest power in the world will go in a place after the next bad has been there for 10 years or so, and he come there and stay there 20 years and leave with nothing. And when he leave messing up everything, tearing it all up. Won't even give him a bowl of rice to eat, right? And sanction the people he done left it to. He leave them weapons instead of food, right? He leave weapons to kill the neighbors, and ain't none of the neighbors going for that. We ain't going for that. So boss man done blew it. He done blew, look, it can't get any more cracker barrel than that. That is unbelievable. 10, 15, 20 years ago, nobody could have come up with that stuff. And his record, you know, so-and-so's 35 and 35 and 0. He done had 35 fights and ain't lost none. Boss man, his latest record, forget Vietnam, forget Korea, he did blow those. But Iraq, all those people he killed, Iraq 1 and 2. Afghanistan, 1. Syria don't know nothing. And that's Syria. And then forget about all the other stuff. I just mentioned a few things so we'll understand, get a feeling of how this stuff is. Europe, 1.7 children to keep the birth rate stable, right? Something like that, 1.7 children. White folks in Europe is below that, right? White folks in Germany, you see how they come on in. But who's coming? Arabs. Where they come from? They blew up and destroyed Syria, and they can't walk over Europe, so they go down to Libya. The white man then helped the dumb Libyans destroy Libya, and then the Africans that Gaddafi was helping to keep in Africa, they can't stay there no more. It ain't no money, ain't no sugar daddy, nothing. So the closest place is Chad and all that has come to Libya. They got to be serious because they're drowning by the thousands in the Mediterranean Sea, washing up on beaches. But where they going? To Europe. EU means caves and hillsides, and rope is the rope to bind. And I'm just making, y'all know who said that, right? Okay, that's all right. That's lost found lesson number 1 and 2. EU caves and hillsides and the rope to bind it. I don't want to tell you the whole story, but you know, you get it. Anyway, think about it though. The number, the people come from Afghanistan, they go to Libya. People come from all that part of the world, they go to Libya. From Libya, they cross in those rickety boats by the thousands. Now they have thousands of prostitutes from African countries having half black babies and half Italian babies. They ain't going to be able to tell the difference as dark as Italians are. And they're having them today. Right? And in Europe, where the Muslims are going, the German factories and everything, they need workers. They come, you just wave, and we're going to put you in a training program and get you on the Mercedes line. Because it ain't no more. The Turks been in Germany since I was there. I saw the Turks was there in all them numbers in the 60s and the 70s. The Turks and the Germans was allies in World War I. Turkish workers. Germans not reproducing. After World War II, they killed most of the Germans. There's a few running around, but most of them, right? So they take us, what do? Teach you the language and have you spit you out a brand new German, shine you up like a brand new Deutschmark. Hey man, you ready to go. You'll be happy to be there, but then you'll eventually, next generation will study the history of how they got there and who brought them there, and they'll be, let's say, semi-revolutionary. Were they doing that everywhere? Can you imagine that 100 years ago it wasn't but 3 blacks in Europe, and now half the country, the mayors in London and everywhere? I mean, and by the numbers, can you imagine if they keep at this rate, white people will be a minority in EU, caves and hillsides, and the rope to bind in. I'm not going to go into it, but that's, in other words, in Europe. Can you see that? Just like they brought us over here to be slaves and do all the work, now they can't. What are they going to do with niggas? What are they going to do today? They can't do anything about the refugees that they have. Nothing. It's too late. They can't send them nowhere. They can't do nothing, and they're happy to have them. Because we're gonna work them to death. Why? Because of greed. We work them for $5 a year. They'll be happy. They was getting $1 back home, right? But their kids will go to school. You hear them. The kids. You hear the Muslim kids in America. You don't know whether when I listen to the radio, when I hear Asma Khalid and all them people, I don't know what. I just know I have to wait to see them. I said, that's actually a Muslim girl. Sometimes they even wear hijab and stuff. And the other ones, Mr. Khan, all them people. And the Chinese, you know who they sound like? I'm not gonna say. You could tell black people, white people. You can't tell. You got to listen real close. They might give a couple of hints. They all sound almost European. You can't tell. You can't tell. They got the King's English down. Anyway, let me speed up. So we wish to be gracious to a people who's been battered, beaten, and, hey man, it's been bad. Give them a different story. It's reported the Prophet ﷺ said, I command upon you 5 things. Allah has ordered me to do so. They are 1, Jama'ah, that is unity of the group. Hearing, 2, obeying, 3, that is the Amir, Hijrah, and Jihad. So we'll get into that later. The believers are but a single brotherhood, so make peace and reconciliation between your 2 contending brothers, and fear Allah that you may receive mercy. Just briefly, we used to have to warn people about Saudi Arabia. They bad. Could you turn the heat on just a little bit? Not that my feet is getting just a little chilly, but just think about this now. I'm telling you, it wasn't long ago at all. That the people, the the Saudis and all of that, we had to tell people, man, the Saudis is the police. They working with the Zionists. Nobody believed us and nobody cared. Now they're just doing it openly, right? Against their Palestinian brothers. And the Palestinian brothers are still there. The only people aligned with them, some of the very good Muslims, a few of the other Arabs, the Negro sister cities down there in Missouri and Palestine, right? Hey, don't worry. Allah be hooking it up. Stuff you can't even think about, Allah hooks it up. Okay. So the believers of a single brotherhood so make peace and reconciliation between the two contending parties. Muslims, a Muslim is a brother of a fellow Muslim. He should neither commit oppression upon him. Look at what the Muslims are doing. Saudi Arabia and these other rich bums are treating, this stuff is unbelievable what they're doing to other Muslims. It's unbelievable. And guess what? We're the only ones talking about it. Do you hear any, is there that much fanfare going around about?
I've seen fundraisers for Yemen, but I don't see any condemnation of Saudi Arabia. I'll put it like that. I've seen Muslims fundraising for Yemen.
Yeah.
I don't see any kind
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have not seen no condemnation of Saudi Arabia. I'm not seeing that.
What is wrong with them? They don't read none of the hadith or nothing in the Quran? Okay. So actually, we have a good, it used to be hard to tell everybody that Saudi Arabia is just that. Now they're doing everything that we was pointing at. They say, oh, you with those Iranians. And da. No, it's you guys. You're not Khatam al-Haramain, protector of the holy shrines. Okay. You should neither commit oppression nor hand them over to an oppressor. They handing over Palestine. Yeah, take these guys. Egypt, you can't go over here and do nothing for Gaza. You can't do that. If they got all that border with Egypt are Muslims, it should be an open border, right?
You don't even hear that much about Egypt.
That is true.
It's more
Well,
Turkey, you don't even hear about
well,
That's actually a good point.
the biggest country, most powerful country in the Arab world is Egypt. The biggest embassy in the world in the day used to be, it was 3,500 people in Egypt, in Cairo. Next, the biggest Egypt was 4,000 something or other in Iraq. The next biggest will be in Lebanon. The embassy will be as big as Lebanon almost. Have anybody heard? It'll be the next big embassy will be in Lebanon. Don't worry about it. They done lost this one. They drive themselves to destruction. You don't have to worry about boss man. Hey, whatever he come up with is to the believer's benefit. He just can't do anything else because that's the movement he's in. Okay. So whoso fulfills the need of a brother, Allah will fulfill his needs. If we even try to help, if we even think about helping, Allah is on our side. So we're Negroes and the Arabs is Arabs. We all believe we're all brothers. How do these dummies, not dummies, but how do they look? They speak the Arabic language. You could imagine how offbeat they feel over there when we come out there. Just wait till we go out to Dar Hijra and other places. And they know all of this stuff, right? And here's the Negro. Don't worry. Hey, we're on the right road. I mean, really the right road. Okay? Who is the hardship? Relieve the hardship of Allah, relieve the hardships. That's why this stuff is fun. It's fun. It don't look like fun. It don't seem like fun. For me personally, everybody I see feels sorry for me. I said, do you think you gotta feel sorry for me? I said, if you're 62% happy, I'm 82% happy. So why I feel bad for the brother? The stuff that's going on is good. Soon I'll be 77 years old and I'm just happy as I can be. Niggas that do the white man like we do him, he be around for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Everybody else, all other people is doing like I'm doing now. They never did that. But even just didn't like. Boss man killed them long time ago. That's why they're able to manipulate my family. They'll kill your father. I tell them, go on, do what you want to do. Don't worry about it, though, because the brother is here. Okay. Just a few more things before leaving. Global Rescue Mission. That's us. Global Rescue Mission. The Negro always play a small part because he never see himself as a global Negro. Well, we are. Global Rescue. Why? What did Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui? He always talked about the global Islamic movement of Islam. Da, 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 da. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Why? He was a good leader and everybody else forgot. Can you imagine the niggas ain't said nothing about it? Zafar Bangash, his proteges, Muhammad Al-Asi led the Sanat al-Janaza. They didn't even tell me when the funeral was going to be, so I wouldn't be there. Something. It's okay. No problema. We're on the threshold of a new world. The world we want to live in the future. Mobilize North America. We've already done this. Declare psycho-spiritual war on the Zionist American dictatorship. Let's look at it. Psycho, mental, spiritual. He don't have a chance. He don't have a chance. This is a psycho-spiritual war now. This is not. We didn't already won the other war. Whatever it was a long time ago. We just finished whooping them. Psychological guerrilla warfare, right? Whatever anybody think, we done whooped all the pants off boss man and that. We discombobulated boss man. We made a fool out of him. The other people do not link the foolishness. They just feel bad. The people on airplane wheels trying to get out of Afghanistan. We told them that same thing a long time ago. Make a fool out. Everybody is wondering, talking about wondering, are we crazy? Are we? They're looking at boss. What's happening with boss man? You know, when everybody get together and they just have a drink, laugh and talk. Hey man, what's happening with boss man? Everybody in the world.
It's the funniest thing when I get on calls with people from other countries and
Right.
You live in Washington, D.C.? It always be funny because you see their eyes light up and they're
Right.
like, hey man, what's going on over
What's
there?
going on over there?
It's so
Hey, man. And then they got Dodo. He's the leader now. He can't, if he can stay woke an hour, you know, the poor guy, he just, anyway, it's not that he's all of that, he's not 100% bad, but he should have let somebody else have that job, because that job will wear you out. Declare psycho-spiritual war. Psycho-spiritual war. On who? The Zionist American dictatorship. Okay, that might be, let me see, that might be one or two little things here we talked years ago, not years ago, a while back, about big battleships, the Yamamoto and the Bismarck and all of those. Those were big, but air power came along and a flip of the switch, and they're not big anymore. Or they're wonderful, they're big. Like Goliath, everybody was telling him, man, Goliath is too big to hit. David had a different idea. He said, he's too big to miss. I can't miss him. I could close my eyes and hit him. Right? Everybody else, man, that guy too big to hit. He's too big to miss. How am I miss him? I could throw the thing about it to come around and hit him. Right? Uh, let's keep some of the things that we have in mind, like PT boats, torpedo patrol boat, old propeller bombers. They could carry torpedo bombers. They could. Right now, it's little things dropping big things. Like we're gonna. I'll put it this way. One of the next talks will be about China, and you could tell that the U.S. is trying to trap China into another, not physical war, but get them worried about, get China off of its track. China's on a roll. So they going and rubbing hands and elbows with Taiwan. And the white folks say, well, if we were to go and drive right around San Francisco Bay or somewhere with all the air, what do you think the U.S. would say, right? And the U.S. is going right around everybody's house, and doing, in other words, everybody is looking at them the way they should be looked at. But, dear believers, this is our time. And the way we feel about it is that Allah have given us everything we needed during a certain period. Because no matter what anybody say, okay, if we call a number at the racetrack every time, right? So what? You're lucky, you had some scheme, whatever, you call them all the time, right? So what about us? We've called every round all the way back. Go back. You can go back to at least 40 years ago. We done called every round. Not every fight, but every round. So something is going on. Now, we thank Allah, and we're going to use all these gifts. And I'll close with this. As far as when people talk about China, the people that are thinking, they talk about China as being in a useful kind of adolescent stage. Like, it was big in the world for thousands of years, and then it had a bad run, opium war and all that. And they diced up China. They just really made fun of it. It was bad. So China in the last few years has come back, and so anytime you come back like that, you got a little feeling of exuberance. You juiced up. So they have to manage that. They have to manage that. Now, what we're pushing is to control yourself, where you don't have to prove yourself right now. You have to prove yourself. Boss man, if he wanna make the world mad, he was gonna buy them submarines from France, and now they're gonna sell Australia submarines that's gonna take them. They're not gonna get a delivery for 10, 15 years from now. They're nuclear submarines. You gotta make the doggone things. By the time they're made, they will be obsolete. The French got a new submarine, nuclear sub, on the drawing board right now. Why they didn't just say, hey man, you got a new, I don't want them old diesel subs. What you got new, man? Right? The contract called for 14 months or 18 months that they had to do that. They didn't do it. Now, that means you got Australia over here. It's closer to China than it's over there. And Australia don't have no sterling record of freedom and justice and equality. Not the way the New Zealanders and the people did the Aborigines over there. It was people there. What did you do with them? Where'd they go? It's bad news. So they can't talk about, only the dumb U.S. will talk about freedom, justice, and equality. And everybody is saying, hey, you know what I saw on your news? The police shooting down people, right? I mean, the U.S., the world is it's like laughing, but it's different. It's puzzled too. They puzzle. The people got, excuse the expression, a shit-eating grin on their face. They don't know whether to laugh or cry when they think about the U.S. And they got to hunch each other. Did you see that? They're amazed, like, maybe, hey, do you see what I'm looking at? Yeah, I see the same thing you see. Well, I'll be doggone. That's America. Now, the big old mean Zionist. I tell you, that's going to be the most fun part. Yeah, the old Zionists, 2 or 3 people running the world, we're going to make them so mad, and so they're going to be so mad, starting right now. Or they've been that way. Because nobody has their number but us. And remember, Zionists are mean. Anyone that they mean, they just mean. And they hateful. And they hate the brother. You ought to see what them Zionists say about the brother. They got, good God Almighty, the name calling. They call me everything but a coon, a buffoon. They use it. They mean that. Everything. But the Zionists. But remember, what do we care about? Playing the dozens, that's what you do. If you talk about my mama, so what? You the one get mad talking about your Zionist mama. I love my mommy. Well, that's too bad. You ought to keep her off the street, you know what I mean? We tell jokes like the niggas used to tell, about their mama. Yeah. And one joke was like everybody was raping, they was running a train on this woman, and and then one guy got on her, and they said, man, this is so good, I got to take this thing off her head, bags on her head. And he says, Mama, that's the way the Negro, you got to have that, right? That's just a joke, you know what I mean? But it's when you think about it, only the Negro can frame his mind to function in that environment. The old boss man, he can't take nothing. You can't say that about mommy. Well, anyway, the last thing, a judicious mix to educate and to inspire. That's the mixture. Educate the people, inspire the people. It's called a judicious mix. We got a lot more, but that's enough for today. So, dear believers, welcome aboard and wave bye-bye to boss man and get ready to wave bye-bye to the Zionists. They should have picked on somebody else that are messing with us here. Yeah. Okay, you think I'm lying? Just sit there for another few more months and see what happens. We're going to slap the urine out of the Zionists. Yeah, we always have. This is just new to you, but it ain't new to me. The guy in L.A., I close with this, Rabbi Chaim, the one I kept hitting at Rabbi Chaim. I said, yeah, you know, Benjamin Hooks, this is in 78. I said, they sued the Jewish end of the NAACP because blacks couldn't get none of it. They was raising all that money, but blacks couldn't use it because it was for the legal fund. And all the lawyers were Jewish. Ain't that right, Rabbi? Chaim, ain't that right? This is in the auditorium at UCLA. Chaim got so mad he run up there. You a hater, you a hater. And I just did it. Rabbi, go sit your butt down. That's what he did. He used to be in command. He turned around and went and sat down. What was the Jewish kids and the Muslims are saying? They were crying. That's what Ahmed Shama and them, the Arabs. I said, that's great. That's what we're supposed to do, hurt their feelings. They kill us. We're just hurting their feelings. They were trying to tell me I should be ashamed for making them feel that way. I said, no, that's great. So, of course, we know where they come from. They come here 12 years later asking me what I want to do with their bear. Hell, keep it. If you just decide to come here in 12 years, right? You know. Anyway, dear believers, we're on a roll. So we just say buckle your seatbelts because it might get a little turbulent. I ain't gonna buckle nothing. I don't buckle in nothing. Just have a good time. Are there any questions or comments?
Brother said, Brother Imam, don't upset boss man. Smiley face laughing.
Right. Hey man, that's people don't realize that's part of the joy of what we're doing. The people don't know what making a joyful Lord make a joyful noise to the Lord means.
Right, yeah.
This is fun. This is fun. Allah give you a way to, it don't make no difference what other people are thinking and what they're feeling. This is how we do it. We're doing this, right? They're not doing it. Who cares what they think? And after you're almost 100 years old,